What is up, traders? Another FOMC day. Wow. Welcome to today's live recap of the NASDAQ 100 futures. And today was FOMC day, guys, also known as the day the market holds its breath. And you already know the drill. At 2 p.m., Jerome Powell strolled onto the scene, dropped the rate bomb, and at 2:30 p.m., we get the Q&A chaos where every word, pause, and throat clearing gets dissected like it's a Zapruder film. And these days are always cyclic. Not sometimes, not occasionally, always. Okay, that's FOMC day for you right there, guys, all right? So the tools you use on days like these are really important, okay? So here's what we did today. We let the tools do the talking. CYMO Pro, it helped us map out structure, really gave us, that broader rhythm of the market. PureMO, of course, helped us confirm or deny momentum. And ScalpMO dialed down with precision and was used to capture those tiny but meaningful cyclical flips and price. Now, this wasn't about chasing breakouts or hoping for a rally. This was about understanding the nature of the market on Fed days, okay, and applying the right lens. And before we even look at today's open, let's kind of rewind a little bit right here, okay, on the chart. And we're going to start with the last 30 minutes of yesterday's session, okay? Because, like I've told you guys before, the DNA of next morning's market is always buried in the previous day's final half hour, okay, guys? So we need to run that part back first, get a sense of structure, and sure enough, guys, we'll see exactly how this whole thing opened right here. Now, if you look at the last half hour of the session, okay, this is yesterday. We haven't even gotten to the open part yet, okay? What was happening here with the market, guys? Can anyone just drop that in the comments, okay? What was happening with all this, okay? And in particular, what happened around this juncture right here? Can someone just drop that in the comments for me, please? I'll just go ahead and wait right now to see if somebody actually puts it in the comments right there. Alrighty, guys, if you're too shy to drop it in the comments, I will tell you, okay? The market was cycling, okay? The market was doing nothing but cycling right here, right before the close of the market. You had the last cycle right here, and right when this last cycle hit, okay, look at what happened with momentum. Momentum dipped right there, okay? And what that's telling you there, guys, is that price would probably go into trend mode, right? So if price is about to go into trend mode, and it did actually break out from the 80-bar VWAP right there, then what do you need to begin to do, okay? You need to begin to count your cycles. You got cycle number 1 right there. You've got cycle number 1 ending. You've got the start of the trend right there, okay? And you've got cycle number 2 also beginning and ending right here, okay? So you got cycle 2 right there, and you've got the end of cycle 2 right there. And so what happens? You got momentum rising, cycle rising. Remember that when a trend ends, cycle always, you always get a cyclic move at the end. So you get a cycle before the trend right here, and you always get a cycle right after the trend ends, okay? And so this gives us a sense of structure. And sure enough, today at the open, okay, it opened with little movement, and then it dropped right back into a very predictable, tight cyclic behavior, guys. So no surprise here, okay? The market was waiting on Powell, all right? So what's going to be key right here to this whole thing, okay, is not just when cycle and momentum are crossing above the zero line. This is giving you some indication as to what potentially might happen at the open right here, all right? But we're also keeping an eye on this 80-bar VWAP right here, okay? And this is really important because if you had your eye on the 80-bar, this green 80-bar VWAP that's right here, let me go ahead and get rid of these crosshairs so you guys could better see. Right here, all right? You saw this plotted. You saw exactly where price would have potentially bounced off early in the day. That's, of course, if price would have actually, reverted and hit that right there, okay? So we're going to kind of see all that play out right now. So let's go ahead and start doing that without any further hesitation. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bingo. Let's go ahead and get this party rocking, guys, all right? And this will go ahead and begin in just a few seconds. I try to set it as close to 9:30 as possible, but sometimes it's hard to do, so you got to put it at 9:24. So in just a few seconds, it'll begin, okay? So market right now, and this is the cycle chart that I'm looking at right there. And so we want to keep a very close eye on both cycle and momentum as far as which way the trade might move right out of the gate, okay? So let's go ahead and keep an eye on that right there, okay? So look at this, guys. Right out of the gate, cycle came down and momentum also tilted down right there. So right out of the gate, guys, first bar, this is telling you that price is likely to drop. That's exactly what this is telling you right there. It's likely to potentially move to the downside, okay? And if that's the case, then I really don't want to be chasing trades to the long side. I want to see exactly how this bad boy plays out right here, okay? Now, this might be a cyclic rotation to the downside, but you don't really have any confirmation right here on a 5-minute chart, if you're looking at this, that price is really going to go up until momentum actually comes up a little bit further and you get across above the zero line right here with CYMO on a 5-minute chart. So this could potentially bounce around, okay, in very cyclic formation, and let's continue and see how that plays out, okay? Remember the green line that I just told you about right there. Smack Daddy just hit the green line right there, and you've got the purple line coming up along with the cyan line right there. You've got CYMO at the bottom, and this bad boy just crossed.
Order filled.
That might be a sell signal right there, okay? It just completely lost steam at that juncture right there. And let's see if this bad boy continues moving down. All right, well, that's right there at very close to the zero line, and it's probably a little bit too close to my comfort zone. Let's go ahead and analyze this closely, guys, okay? The bounce right here. You see this bounce, the hesitation, okay? All part of the pattern of when price hits the green line. It ends up stalling, okay? And we're going to go ahead and fast forward through the AM session in just a moment to show how that developed and where the real opportunities were if you guys had the right filters, all right? So we're going to go ahead and continue going with this, guys. But anytime this green line is inside this lower channel VWAP, you got to be very, very careful, because what this is telling you here, guys, is that whenever price hits this line, it's bound to reverse, okay? And I ended up taking this trade to the short side for a quick, super quick clip, okay? Why? Because it hit the green line. And I know when it hits the green line, it's going to end up stalling. Not only that, but I saw this bad boy right here cross below the cyan line, a nice cycle formation. I know that that's the end of that trade when that happens, guys. And when it flips up, okay, from being an exhaustion zone down here, I know that that trade is completely done and over with, okay? It hits the exhaustion zone down here, it's likely gonna pop up, all right? So I don't necessarily have to wait for this bad boy to get above the zero line right there. It's close enough. I'll be happy to take that and cash out with a little profit right there. 898 to I think it was 887 right there. So not bad. Not a bad trade at all.
Order filled.
Okay, that's a setup to go long as well. I kind of paused for a moment because I thought I saw a comment. I got to keep my eyes on the chart and not the comments. So there we go. Okay, up. And this is it, guys. The moment it sinks right there, that is it. I will take my clip.
Order filled.
And be done with that trade and not even wait for it anymore. That was 913 to 923. That was a nice little clip to the upside right there. Okay, got in there and got out of the trade right there. And this was pretty much the entire morning, guys. There was an upward drift in the market today for a good period of time. And let me just go ahead and bring the 5-minute chart over here to kind of show you what's going on, all right? You had CYMO telling you, hey, look, price is about to go up right here. And sure enough, it did. It hit the green line. It kind of stalled, bounced around, kind of noisy right there. You could tell that momentum is lacking right here to the upside, guys. If there's really going to be a push to the upside, and if this really is going to take off, you want to see momentum actually come up above the gray box right here. Otherwise, you're just going to get stuck in an area of noise and chop. And you can clearly see that when PureMO begins to cruise along the horizontal axis right there. Okay, let's go ahead and see what happens here on this 5-minute chart to see if there's any huff and puff to this trade at all. And if PureMO actually breaks out and you have a shift in momentum to the upside, just like you do right there, then this is a potential trade to take to the upside. And then you can go ahead and follow this trade kind of all the way through if you wanted to right there. So you can look at this right there, and that would give you confirmation to go ahead and take your trade on your lower time frame chart right there. And that's typically the way that I would do it if I were trading using the 5-minute and using this chart as confirmation as far as which way price might potentially turn.
Order filled.
Might be another potential trade right there. I don't know. Let's see. This bad boy going up right there. No, these are not RSIs.
Order filled.
Done. I'll clip that trade, and that is it, guys, right there. There's nothing else left in that trade. I probably got in a little bit late anyway. So anyway, you could follow the 5-minute chart if you want, just to give you guys a little bit more guidance as far as which way price is moving. Momentum is still moving to the upside. Momentum here with CYMO is moving to the upside. You've got the rotation for cycle number 1 right there, beginning here, and here is the end. All right, cycle number 1 right there. Okay, so this has all been done, guys, on the cycle chart because price is inside the channel right here. And if you notice carefully what price did, it hit the bottom VWAP. It bounced, okay, came back up right here, okay, missed this opportunity right here. There was another opportunity right here to go to the upside. Came back down, hit the 80-bar VWAP, didn't break, and just kind of bounced back up again, okay? And this was what played out for a good part of the morning today, and I'm just going to kind of let it run right there. And we're going to go ahead and kind of see where price actually shifted. Oops, in the process of all this, sorry guys, I hit the stopper on this and I wasn't letting it ride. Yeah, absolutely. The links, guys, to all these tools are in my bio, and you guys could grab them from my bio. I'm actually the developer that developed these. You guys can grab them from the bio and try them out absolutely free for 7 days, okay? So I'm going to let this bad boy run right here to see exactly when price actually shifted, and then we're going to go and switch over to a trend chart and see if there's anything there for us, okay? Fully automated? No, it's actually discretionary, which kind of gives you way more control because it allows you to actually enter and exit the trades based on what exactly you're looking to obtain in the trade, whether it's a scalp or whether it's the trend component of the move. All right, guys. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let this bad boy play out because what we're seeing here is we're seeing cycle and momentum just kind of meander, just do its motions right there. We'll see if there's any other opportunity right now to really nail one of these trades to the upside or to the downside. What I am looking for right now, guys, is I want to see a shift in momentum. Right now we have a shift in momentum right here going up, and this is the 1032 bar. So let me go ahead and go here to my trend chart here, so it can tell me whether or not there's anything here at the 1032 bar. So what I can see right here from the trend chart, guys, is you've actually had some crazy looking cycles right here. You had cycle 1 right here, you had cycle 2 right here, and this looks like the end of cycle number 3 right here. Oh yeah, this is cycle 1, this is cycle 2 right here, and this is cycle 3, okay? If this is the end of cycle 3, guys, I definitely don't want to take that to the upside right there. That's the beginning of cycle 3 right there at the 1032 bar, and if that's the beginning of cycle number 3, guys, These are the NASDAQ 100 futures. This is what's currently up on the chart right now. So the reason I went and did the check and I flipped over to the other chart is because I saw momentum rise above the threshold right here. And remember, I kind of gave you guys an idea yesterday. I said whenever momentum rises above or below the upper or lower thresholds, it's always good to actually go and see if you have a setup on your trend chart to see if you could actually gain an advantage and taking the trend trade earlier during the cycle phase, right? So instead of waiting for the trend phase to begin on your cycle chart, maybe you can just grab the cycle phase and have a nice 5 or 7 bar advantage, okay? They are cycles, even if they are not, let me see, they are cycles, even if not fully above the 90% threshold. Yeah, because what happens is sometimes momentum will overshoot itself, like it did right here. Okay, it'll overshoot. So, and that's the reason you want to confirm with your trend chart, because remember that momentum is a little bit slower at making its turns than the cyan line, which is your tugboat that's actually pulling the cruise ship in the direction that you want. So sometimes momentum does tend to overshoot, and when it does, like right here in this region, here, or here, you always want to confirm with the trend chart to ensure that the setup is there on the trend chart so that you don't get faked out. So that's how I'll do it. So right now we just confirmed right here, we're at the 1032 bar, okay? This is the NinjaTrader platform right here. This is the platform that I'm using, NinjaTrader. So if you notice the 1032 bar, you see this, and the first question that comes to mind is this really going to turn into a trend? Or is it just going to be an overshoot of momentum, like J Momentum just kind of pointed out right there? It could just be a cycle, okay, just kind of making its turn. So the way we confirm that is we go right back here to our trend chart right here, okay? And here's the 1032 bar right smack right there where I've got my cursor, okay, which is right here. Okay, let me just go ahead and put an arrow. It's right there. All right, guys? And if that's the 1032 bar, you know, I want to see where I'm at in the rotation right here. And I can see that this is cycle number 1, and I know this is cycle number 1 because this is where momentum actually went up right there. Okay, so if that's when momentum went up, this is the end of cycle 1, and this is a long cycle that actually began at 1558 the previous day right there. Okay, yeah, 2-minute chart. Yep. And by the way, welcome Heart and Soul. It's good to see you here, man. So that's the way I do it, guys. Cycle 1, big cycle. Cycle 2, okay, and then you've got cycle 3. And if you're in cycle 3 and you're all the way up here, that's really not a setup I want to take. I want to take it when it's at cycle number 1 so I can go ahead and jump into the trade, okay? So there's nothing there, not yet right now. So let's go ahead and see how this continues to play out, all right? I'd say all day, but the best time to trade futures is between 9:45 in the morning till about 12:30 in the afternoon, and that's for retail traders. It was an upward drift all morning long. Now you have cycle and momentum falling right here, guys. Okay, nothing there yet right now to take any trade to the downside. Okay, but okay, here we go. Now we've got one of these other scenarios where momentum actually fell to the bottom just like it rose here to the top. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Check this out. Okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to just plot the arrow right there. I'm going to get my crosshairs and I'm going to say, all right, this is the this crossing right here happened at the 1044 bar. So is this a fake out or is this really the start of a cycle? Okay, no sine wave shows momentum is dominating. Let's see, no sine wave shows momentum is dominating even though it's above 90. Let me just understand the question. It says no sine wave shows momentum is dominating even though it isn't above 90. Yeah, well, there's sine wave formations all across right here. All these are just sine wave formations. Kind of messy, but they are. So momentum isn't dominating, but the check is whenever it comes down here, you want to make sure that it actually goes into trend mode. So this is what we're going to do. Check it out. So it comes down right here, okay? And hopefully I understand the question correctly, but you're at the 1044 bar, okay? You put your cycle chart to the side, okay? And now you're here. Now the third component of the wave is done. That's cycle 3, guys. That is over with right there, okay? So right here, you had no sine wave formations, okay? So maybe back to the PureMO chart, okay? So right here, momentum is dominating right there, even though it's not above the 0.90. The 0.90 is really a reference point to tell you how strong the move is. If it's below the 0.90 reference point, the red line right there, and it's still moving up with no sine waves right there, it's moving up, but it's moving up in a very slow formation. Okay, if you notice right here, momentum is elevated, it's above the gray box, and it is pulling price up, but in very slow fashion, okay? If you've gone back on your charts and you've noticed whenever momentum actually fires up above the 0.90 and goes horizontal, yeah, sure, whenever it goes up above the green line or below the green line over here above the red line, and it goes horizontal, guys, that's when you have strength in the move. Here, even though you don't have any sine waves, you had one sine wave right here, but right here between 10 o'clock all the way forward, you don't have any sine waves. So yes, silent noise is right. It's below the red line. Momentum is still dominating, even though you don't have any sine waves, but it's dominating at a very slow pace. So momentum is pulling price up, but very slow, at a very, very slow pace. And you can tell that there's momentum in this trade because PureMO is above the gray box and it's just kind of going horizontal right here as well. But it's doing it at a very slow pace. So if you really want strength in the move, you know, this type of move to the upside would be a lot stronger if the yellow line were to have climbed up above the 0.90 line, the red line right here, okay? It's like a super soft trend, like Samba Barbie just said, super soft trend to the upside right there. But now that you're here at cycle number 3, all right, we just took a look over at our 1042 bar. Our 1042 actually was the 1044 bar is this bar right here where we're at, okay? That's what we just saw right there on the cycle chart, okay? So if we're right here on the cycle chart right there, okay, and we're just ending cycle number 3 and momentum is down here, let's see if we actually get a breakout to the downside, because that's going to signal that we actually indeed do have the start of a trend. Well, it's actually the start of a cycle that's going to turn into a trend, right? That's how it flows. Well, here we go, right here, guys. This is exactly the setup you want to see, okay? Right here, check this out. You want to see momentum falling, and you want to see cycle below 0 right there, and you want to see a breakout in momentum right smack right there, okay? This confirms what we just saw right here where I have the red arrow on the cycle chart, okay? So we're going to go ahead and jump into the trade right there because this is exactly the type of setup that you want to see. So that's what we do. We confirm with the trend chart, and hopefully we got in a few bars earlier right before the trend starts. We want to get in on the cycle component that precedes the trend so we can really capture the full move of the trend going down. Just remember that the trend isn't confirmed on your trend chart unless the trend line here sinks below the green line over here, all right? But you're getting an advance warning on your cycle chart. So that's kind of like a little shortcut right there and a little way to test and a smart way to test which way the market might end up moving. And here we go. Look at this. Check this out right here, guys. This is where it sinks right there. Now, let me just go ahead and pause it for a second. How many bars was that right there? We got into the trade right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, about 4 bars, and we would have seen this on the 5th bar. You got a 5-bar lead, guys, to jump in on this trade right here versus down here by having looked at your cycle chart and then taking a step to confirm here on your trend chart. Did you guys catch that? I hope you did, because that's really important. If not, you can catch it on the playback. Now remember guys, there's 3 steps, there's 3 phases to every trade, okay? You've got your expansion, which is right here, okay? This is the strongest part of the trade. You've got your exhaustion, which is right here where you're at with PureMO at the bottom, all right? And then you have consolidation, which is what follows expansion. Consolidation follows exhaustion right here, okay? And here it is right there, guys. You just had to tilt, okay? You buy that bad boy
Order
back,
filled.
and that's the end of it.
Wow, did you see that? That's what you call precision.
All right, guys, so remember the 3 phases of the move, all right? You can't forget this. A lot of this, guys, is just process. And that's exactly the reason, you know, we come on here every day to just really fine-tune and sharpen the blade so you guys can get the best results with the tools that you guys are using, okay? This is where we break it down, where we go over the hows and the whys, okay? The 3 phases of the trade. You've got your expansion right here. You've got your exhaustion right here. And over here, you know, you've got your consolidation component of the trade right here. You see that, guys? And that's the end of it right there. There's nothing else that's left in this trade. You had momentum come down. You had the beginning of cycle number 1, which is over here. Cycle number 1 ended up finishing off right there. We had the beginning of cycle number 2, which was right there. And cycle number 2 ended up finishing, well, it's going to finish the moment that the cyan line just kind of rolls back in here. So kind of right there. All right. So there you go. Okay. That's typically the way it's done right there. And now you're back in, cycle territory right there. And so for the rest of the afternoon, you guys saw what happened. It went back into cycle territory. I think it rallied just a little bit, and then the FOMC announcement came at 2 p.m. The market really didn't flinch much at 2 p.m. today, you know, not like it normally does on FOMC announcement day, which was kind of a weird thing. You know, I guess the market was widely expecting the Fed not to do anything with their rates. So it was, wow, okay, the market really didn't do anything. There was a little bit of volatility in 1 bar at 2 p.m., but beyond that, it was okay. I think the market sold off right after the announcement and then kind of rallied back up, you know, but that's it right there. That's pretty much the best trade that you guys could have picked up in the morning session today. But that's really, guys, the process that I would have followed right there, and making sure that I got in up here rather than down here. It's always the confirmation between your cycle chart right here, okay, and your trend chart right here. So remember, you see this bad boy go down, you know, you stop and you go back and you check right here to make sure that price is actually going to drop and move in your favor right there, okay? Now, let me tell you guys, most traders get eaten alive on Fed days, okay? And let's just call it out. FOMC days eat traders alive, because most people don't recognize what kind of day they're in. You know, they try to apply trend strategies in a cyclic environment and vice versa. They chase news. They jump in early and exit late. They confuse speed with signal. But when you're using tools like CYMO, PureMO, and ScalpMO, you can step back, observe, and wait for clarity, okay? And that's what we did today, okay? And if you were watching closely, you saw just how clearly these tools filtered out the noise, all right? And look, guys, trading isn't about being right every time. It's about knowing when not to play and having discipline to wait for the alignment, okay? Today wasn't about catching massive moves. It was about staying alive, staying smart, and preserving mental capital, okay? And that's what the real edge looks like right there, all right? Now, if you want to get off the fence, okay, and take these bad boys for a 7-day free ride, here's what you get. You get CYMO Pro, this tool right here. which is built to read structure with stunning accuracy. You get PureMO down here, a momentum filter that knows when to stay out and when momentum's about to shift. You also get ScalpMO, which you saw on the other chart just a moment ago, okay, which is a scalping tool for tight rotations like today's opening session. And you get the dynamic VWAP up here as well, okay, which is your adaptive compass. You also get our daily briefing bot. You know, you'll basically get the read before the market opens. You get 2 free one-on-one sessions to get you dialed in. And oh, Dr. Freud, okay? He's live, he's free, and he'll walk you through your head trash whenever you need to consult with them. Absolutely free. All of it free, guys, for 7 days. You've got nothing to lose except another day of missed opportunity.